The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. Ukraine security services searched the home of one of the country's most prominent billionaires as part of the country's wartime anti-corruption crackdown. Photos on social media show Ihor Kolomoisky dressed in a sweatsuit with a security service officer at his home. Authorities said they had uncovered embezzlement at Ukraine's biggest oil company and its refiner. Kolomoisky once held stakes in both firms, but the billionaire has long denied any wrongdoing. The raid comes days before a European Union summit. Pope Francis heard harrowing accounts of killings and rapes told by victims of the conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo on Wednesday. In a poignant encounter at the Vatican's embassy in the capital Kinshasa, victim after victim told their story to the pontiff before laying down objects symbolizing their suffering, such as a machete or a dagger before a Christian cross. The Pope was on the first full day of his visit to Congo and earlier celebrated Mass in front of 1 million people. He responded to these stories with an emotional speech calling for an end to violence. The Pope says he's praying that God will console the victims and that the hearts of those who carried out atrocities will be converted. Eastern Congo has been plagued for decades by conflict, driven in part by the struggle for control of vast mineral deposits between the government, rebels, and foreign invaders, and in part by the fallout from the 1994 genocide in Rwanda. Today is the Pope's last full day in Congo before he departs on Friday for neighboring South Sudan, another country grappling with conflict and hunger. Meanwhile, in the U.S., the Federal Reserve has raised its target interest rate by 0.25 percentage point. That brings its target rate to a range of 4.5 to 4.75%, the highest level since late 2007. The Fed said inflation has eased but remains elevated, citing factors like the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It added that the ongoing increases will be appropriate in order to bring inflation under control. We will be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The funeral of Tyre Nichols saw a mix of celebration of his life and outrage calls for police reform. The memorial service for Nichols drew not only loved ones, but civil rights leaders as well as Vice President Kamala Harris. Preachers recalled Nichols as a young man who loved photography and skateboarding and demanded justice and an end to police violence against black people. Nichols died last January 10 after a fatal encounter with Memphis police. In the 3 weeks since his death, 5 police officers were fired and charged with murder while their specialized unit was disbanded. 2 other officers were suspended while 2 emergency medical workers and a lieutenant at the Memphis Fire Department were fired. Boeing bid farewell to the iconic 747, sending the final plane for client Atlas Air into the skies on Wednesday in Everett, Washington. Since its first flight in 1969, the giant yet graceful 747 has served as a cargo plane, a commercial aircraft capable of carrying around 500 passengers, a transport for NASA's space shuttles, and the Air Force One presidential aircraft. It revolutionized travel, connecting international cities that had never been before, had direct routes, and helping democratize passenger flight. But over about the past 15 years, Boeing and its European rival Airbus have introduced only 2 engines to maintain instead of the 747's 4. Thousands of workers joined Boeing and other industry executives from around the world in saying goodbye to the jumbo jet. Let's hear more on that in this report by Associated Press.
Everybody, and Carson, you're absolutely right. This is darn good.
And so when they arrived, of course, we were just mesmerized by looking at the size of it. I mean, it just blew our minds. But as time goes by, you start to become familiar with that big, gigantic jumbo size, right? I'm very, very happy, and I'm at the same time a little sad because we don't like to see it come to an end because it's such a wonderful, as the word they use, iconic airplane, right? But eventually, it's like so many airplanes, you finally meet a time where you have to move on, right?
So this is my last airplane. I work on it. Yeah, I'm very excited. At the same time, I'm very sad about it because this is gonna be the last ones.
Here are the top global headlines in sports and entertainment. Korean actress Song Ye-kyo breaks her silence in doing nudity in the Netflix series The Glory. Ye-kyo says she was willing to do the scene right away when the writer told her that he did not want a double to stand in for her. The actress also believes that her doing the scene does the character justice. 7-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady announces his retirement from the NFL and says that this time he's done for good. He briefly retired after the 2021 season but wound up coming back for one more year with the Buccaneers. And Beyoncé is taking her renaissance global. The superstar announced on social media that she will start her much anticipated world tour in Sweden in May, with stops throughout Europe and the United States. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register an account now at signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.